in the camera. I'm going to do my little checklist to make sure the sound's working, because it's gone wrong once before and we don't want it happening again. See our socials. Where are we gone? That is us right there. Now, I'm gonna have to make this on a big screen, aren't I? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Am I? I believe I am. Well, I found out somebody else got the same tagline as me. Same username as me. Just found out. I mean, don't look like he's posting a while. I might ask him, can I have it back? Let's just double check. Don't look like he's posting a while. There we go. So we are officially live, ladies and gentlemen. Just jumping straight back into our case study live. So as I've mentioned before, this is more this is the sort of journey of me scaling a local business from the organic side, from the paid ad side, how we're going about creating the content, how you guys can implement this within your own businesses, and exactly what it entails, the systems that I'm using, the prompts that I'm using, tools that I'm using, everything from sort of start to finish. These lives are mainly as a reference point for myself, so I can sort of go back. I'm going to stop adjusting the camera and then I'll keep moving. Mainly as a reference point for myself, so I can sort of go through, see exactly what I was documenting alongside it, and then I'll be posting them within YouTube as like official sort of long forms rather than just lives. It'll be a full long form series going out for these. So that's ultimately what these lives have become about for now. Whilst we're going through this sort of case study phase, we're going through exactly what we've done for the client. And a major milestone that we've hit is we've hit 50k views within the first week. We're now looking to hit the 100k views within the second week, which would be the 14th of November. So we started officially posting content from the 1st of November, so we've got a pretty solid sort of judgment of exactly where the 14th day is, the 21st day is, and then well, it'd be the 28th, but the 30th day. From the 14th, between the 14th and 15th, we're going to be running our ads. So what I've managed to do sort of within the first week, prior to setting up, or prior to actually posting, what we were doing was setting up the content, testing different content ideas, finding out exactly what my client's goals were, what he wanted out of this sort of case study, or what he wanted the ultimate goal to be. Because as I've touched on in a couple of my notes, you always want to establish from the beginning what's your goal, what are you going to do? Are you aiming to get more email sign-ups? Are you aiming to get more link clicks, more sales? Everybody's going to have different goals, and even local businesses, you'd imagine that most local businesses would want foot traffic through the door and people coming through the door to be able to purchase the product, but a lot of people do it online. A lot of people have, things like Just Eat or web orders, emails they convert really well on. So knowing exactly what your business goal is and targeting all of your content, your funnel, your lead magnets, etc. towards that one goal. You don't want to find yourself in a position where it's getting switched up. I had that before with clients where say, look, if the goalpost is getting moved, you've then got to adjust your strategy, and it's doable. You test different things, but I'd always say, look, every 30 days realistically is what you want to be doing. With organic, you could even stretch it to 90 days, dependent on exactly what the goal is. But we found out the goal, we found out the style of content. We know the geolocation that we're targeting, which is Birmingham. So the good thing is going through the analytics, and again, as I say, there'll be screenshots attached to the full case study when I drop that onto YouTube. But we've noticed that 50%, it's probably more to be honest, because Instagram's weird with how it breaks it up, because it's like 52% is Birmingham, but then there's like 8% which is Warsaw, and then there's like another 3% which is Tamworth, which I'd sort of class majority of it towards the Birmingham region. So, but the main point is the target audience that we're after, which is Birmingham residents, Birmingham based. Birmingham-based audience, it's a Birmingham-based business. We are hitting that exactly as we need. So I'm just getting prepared to schedule some content whilst we're on this live. So the analytics are pointing in the right direction. TikTok's taking a little bit of time now, but I think with the posting schedule that we've allocated, so we've got roughly around about 90 posts set up. So you're looking at about 3 a day. There's going to be some days where we'll be posting a bit more, and then we're doing the ads as a hidden ad. So we'll be running that in a separate, so it won't show up as content, be completely separate content. Again, speaking to the client, to my client today, identifying exactly what we want to do in terms of the ads, what offers they're happy with, what price points. I always try and think of it in a way, especially like I said with a local business, is when you're walking, when your sales are ultimately walking, the biggest friction point that you're going to have is getting people through the door. So if you can bypass that friction, even if I wouldn't say you want to be losing money under any circumstance. I don't think any sort of lead magnet where you're losing money is a good idea. But even if you're breaking even or the profit margins aren't as high with that lead magnet, you've got them through the door then. So everything else is sort of like a bonus. So say if you're doing a 99p shot. Now the shot overall might cost you 89p per shot. So you're only making 10p rather than making, say, £2 10p if you charge like 2-3 quid for it. But the good thing is with that, you've got people for the door. Now you will, of course, out the however many people that sign up for the lead magnet, you are going to get people that are just going to literally come in, take the shot, go. But I'd imagine fewer than the people that are going to come in, take the shot, probably have a drink, maybe, sit down, have a chat, maybe have another drink, and then you've got them through the door. You've got past the first initial hurdle. It's building the trust. A lead magnet is ultimately sort of like bypassing the trust barrier. Is if your lead magnet is good enough and they come either into the venue or they sign up to your emails or whatever it's going to be, this is your chance now. Like this lead magnet is the chance to sort of like bypass the trust and build it quicker. You've probably been building the trust up over time because they've seen your organic content, they've seen potentially your paid content, they've now decided to opt in and they trust you. You've got that many sort of touch points with them that they've now accepted and purchased something, or they've exchanged something, whether it's just an email, in order to get something from yourself. There's been an exchange, which is great. That's one of the first initial steps down the funnel. So as I mentioned, going back and forth with my client on that, structuring the offer. So I said ideally we want to look at 3 offers. 3 offers run for 3 days. They're paid. We're going to be doing Instagram and TikTok. So as I'm speaking to you guys now, I'm just getting a couple of things set up to schedule some of my content, schedule some of the clients' organic content, get the creatives for the paid content, and then hopefully start running that ASAP, or getting the account set up and then running that ASAP from the 14th to the 15th. I'm just going to quickly refer back to my notes here. So in terms of the content calendar, what I always aim to try and do is gun for like 3 posts. We'll go back to the organic for now. Is gun for 3 posts per day, especially at the beginning. I know people will be like, oh no, you need to post 3 times a week on Instagram. And there's accounts on Instagram that are posting 100 times a day, like 100 unique pieces of content every single day. It's never going to be about like the amount of content. It's going to be the value of the content. And the way you can identify what's the most valuable is by hitting the volume button and just sort of maxing it out as much as possible. So I always aim for that 90 target for the first 30 days. Of course, there's going to be some days where like there's going to be set content that has to go out each day. You can't just pump it. For example, this client, they're closed on Mondays. So if I'm doing a promo sort of post, an organic promo post, it's not going to make sense to post it on a Monday, because if you get people like, oh, can we come by today? It's like, oh, no, you've got to come by tomorrow. They've already started off on a bad thing. And then, of course, sports, things like that, want to promote the sports within the venue on the road day. We don't want to be posting something that's already happened, which would be a bit bad. And then at the same time, we don't want to necessarily be posting something that's happening like 2 weeks posting football that's happening in like 2 weeks' time. It's like, well, why would we do that? Why would we care now? People care like the day before, or max 3 days before. You might get some people that are a week ahead, but I can't imagine there's too many of those guys. So that's just about the content calendar aim for the 90 days. 90 days because one, it allows us as creatives to sort of sit there and get loads of different things made up, loads of different styles made up, try and see what we think is going to work, try and test out different things, use the resources that we have at hand. And of course, if you only hit the 60 or the 70 or the 80 mark, that's still more than 2 pieces of content a day. So I'd rather do 90 than do 30, because if you do 30 and you're struggling, you're gonna struggle to hit that 1 piece of content a day, which is in my opinion, the bare minimum. Whereas if you do 90, 9 times out of 10 you'll fly past the 30 because you've got 90 days, you've got 1 piece of content, you can post that piece of content 4 times in 4 different styles, testing different variables, testing different sort of SEO metrics, different hooks, etc, etc, etc. So it just allows you to have a bit more freedom in what you want to create, and it eases the pressure, because as I say, 9 times out of 10, if you're targeting 30 pieces of content, you'll come to say like 20 to 25 and you'll start stressing. Second you go to 30 and second you're going in for 90, you'll fly past 30, you'll hit 40 easily. So that was just on the content calendar. Obviously keeping it consistent, so just making sure there's a post going out every single day, making sure you're consistent with the geo tags. Little things like hashtags, they're not going to make you blow up and make you go viral, but they're going to just be related to the area, as I say, especially if you're targeting local business. You want majority of the audience to be based within that area. Of course, you're going to get some random, I think there was a random one in India and a couple in America, a lot of top cities when I was going through the metrics for this client, but the majority is Birmingham. Over 50% is Birmingham. That's what we want. That's that for every 1,000 views we're getting, that's 500 people or 500 individual views that we're getting for Birmingham. That is exactly what we are looking for when it comes to the metrics, when it comes to the target audience. And yeah, so there we are. KPIs, we're getting quite a lot of sends as well, which is quite weird. I noticed a lot of sends on the videos. So I actually created like a song, which is very local, community based. It's obviously got the name of the business in there, and then it's got references to certain things that were in Birmingham. And any of you guys know like team Aston Villa, certain like Birmingham Road, Broad Street, that sort of thing. It's all in there. So hoping to keep it that local thing of people hearing it and thinking, oh, it's a song about Birmingham, and sending it on to other people. So that's what I have noticed a lot in any of the videos where I've used that song. It's had a lot more sort of shares and sends compared to say like saves or comments or anything like that. It's more people like sending it to other people, like look at this, which again that's the best metric. Best metric is shares after revenue, of course, but difficult to track that with foot traffic at the moment, especially within the first couple of days. So I'm going through the building a monthly content calendar, exactly how we're doing that, the ideas. So with ideas, again, a lot of the time I tend to I like to bounce between laptop, pen and paper and phone. I do 9 times out of 10, I'll have all 3 in front of me. So what I tend to do is sort of brainstorm with ChatGPT a load of content ideas within the niche that I'm targeting. Whether it's online, offline, local, whatever. And I'll write down the ones I would really like, or the ones that it suggested swipe post rules or something like that, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know the rules part, but I like swipe post this. So it allows me to funnel through ChatGPT, and again I'll knock up the number. So if I want 30 different content ideas, I'll say to ChatGPT, give me 50 different content ideas, scan through, write down the ones that I want. And then always having a pen and paper at hand, because when you're constantly thinking of the client, you're constantly going to have content on your mind. If you're scrolling through there, like social media, engaging with people, you'll see ideas that you like. So I'll write down like trend, blah, 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 or I'll save it a lot of the time. If you go through my socials personally, I have like different save sections of like prospects, like people I'm going to reach out to, and then engagement, and then just ideas, just like a load of ideas. I think the ideas one's probably the biggest after prospects, because I've got about 5 of those, but it's the key area for that. So that's just how I come up with the ideas. Gone through locking in offers. So obviously I spoke to the client. I don't want to put a price point in place that people aren't happy with. If I sit there saying people can come and have a pint and a game of pool for like £3.50, and he's like, it costs him that much in just to open the doors or whatever it may be. You then still making sure the lead magnet, or the offer, is still attractive and still profitable is key. Because if you can make profit as soon as somebody walks through the door, even if they just walk in the door, take the offer and then go, you've still made a bit of money, and then know about it. And if they've had a good experience, they'll tell their friends, they'll tell their mates, they'll arrange to go there, they'll see what you have to offer. They might even plan it in for later on in the week as well. As soon as they find out about sports is a big one, because most people don't realise what venues show sports and what sports they show. So having that sort of like pinned for people to see. We've done the review. I've got a separate video on the review, but basically all that was is I went through like the top. First 7 days, went through the top 3 performing posts, screenshotted them, screenshot the metrics, see what worked. Majority of them were the ones with the song attached to them, as well as a little joke one that I did, which was basically like win a free point. It's quite a good one. I might even just include it in one of the videos just so you guys can see like some of the creatives that you come up with. But again, that's through like swiping. So I'd always say, look, when you're creating the content, have content on your mind 24/7. So if you're ever on socials swiping, have your content on mine. How can I turn this into something for me? Can I turn this into something for me? And in fact, I wouldn't even ask that second question. How can I turn it into something for me? Because there's always a way, no matter what the content is, there's always a way for you to flip it into something that's centered around your content and your socials. Even if it's a bit of a stretch, even if it's not as sort of high quality, there's always a way to do it. And rather than asking yourself how do you do it rather than can you do it, you'll automatically just start thinking away. So there's a big one on the creatives there. Launch and optimise plan. So yeah, the big campaign. It's got a couple of events. He's actually highlighted one to me today for the 30th of November, which is actually the final sort of day of this 30-day case study, as you will. So we'll have the what I call the low ticket offer, the group offer, the sports offer, and then we're going to have this main event one as well, which will actually run in perfect time. And I'm quite happy with that as well, because it gives us those 3 as like testing points. Potentially lock them in. I have said that, look, we can always flip it around. This is just like the first round of ads, running for 3 days, and then we'll flip the offers to see which ones work and what we can change about, whether it's the copy, whether it's creative, it's the design. As soon as we find one that works, we'll just spin it as many times as we can. We'll spend most of our time just flipping the visuals for that. Yeah, check out performance after 72 hours. I've mentioned that. Evergreen topic. I won't dive into that too much today because you can keep this one nice and short. I just didn't want to fall off. I didn't want to fall off like doing them. I mentioned saying doing 2 a week, and I will bounce back to doing 2 a week. I think it's just been the past couple of weeks. I've been going on and everything like that. I think this week I've fallen to 1, or last week I've fallen to 1. This week it's only Tuesday, so we've still got time to do the 2. And yeah, there we are. So I don't actually think we had anybody tune into that live, but I just wanted to make sure I did one, making sure that I'm keeping on top of it, even if it's just myself that watches this back later, to, just to basically reference the work that I've done, how I was thinking about it all. We'll close you down now, will we? Oh, no, yeah, we're going to close you down. Is it going to let me? Probably not. I'll have to make it larger and then go in and close it down. No, still not. Did it work? Don't know where it's all gone. It's all just completely disappeared. But that is all for this week, guys. So, of course, any key questions that you have about this case study or about the work in general, just shoot me a comment, or you can follow me on my socials. They'll all be in the descriptions below. I appreciate anybody that tunes in and watches these, likes these. Appreciate you all.